Catchweight bout here going to be fighting at 120 because Lupita Godinez is filling in for Poliana Viana. She's coming in at minus 125 against Emily Ducote, who's coming in at plus 125. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 300 for the over, plus 300 for the under. So they're expecting a decision in this one. Lupita Godinez got a win her last time out. Emily Ducote a loss. But, if this one's going to go the distance, I do not like betting Lupita Godinez. But I look at this price and I think she's a little bit undervalued because she's been super valued in a lot of her other fights. And Emily Ducote is, 12-7 in her MMA career? I mean, records can be deceiving to some point, but her only win in the UFC is Jessica Penne. And Jessica Penne is damn near be retired. Her last time out, she lost to Angela Hill. It's obviously in the main event and has been around for a while, but she got pieced up in that fight. And I think Lupita Godinez should be able to win this fight fairly handedly. I mean, I think she's as good or better in every facet of the game. So at minus 125, I'm like, is this a trap or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Ducote in her debut against Jessica Penne, obviously the leg kicks, she almost finished her with leg kicks. Those look phenomenal. And everybody was super high on her going into Angela Hill, and then she was met with a decent striker in Hill, and we see what happens. She just kind of gets beat the whole fight. But I mean, Godinez, the one thing that worries me with her is sometimes she kind of throws the game plan out the window and just goes in there and fights when she does have wrestling advantages over girls. I mean, in her last fight against Calvillo, that was a lot closer than it probably should have been. I know Calvillo, came down. She was bigger. But even against Angela Hill, for her as well, she lost that by decision. And she only landed one takedown. And it's like, man, that's your path to victory. Just stay on it. Press the gas and try to get this thing to the ground and dominate like you do. But she just didn't really do it. So coming off of that close win against Cynthia Calvillo, only a month ago, that kind of worries me too. Hannah being short notice, but again, Emily Ducote, inexperienced at the UFC level. I think if Godinez can just come in and just, really stay disciplined to that wrestling and takedown, get the fight where you want it, where you're most comfortable, and I think she should cruise to a decision victory here. Emily Ducote, you beat Penne, you lose to Angela Hill, just kind of screams, maybe I'm just kind of average or, in the lower tier of this women's division. So, yeah, I agree. I think Lupita should get this fight. I think there is a lot of value on her at this line because, there's a lot of times Lupita Godinez comes in, it's a minus 300 favorite. So you're going to get her at minus 125. You might jump on it.
Yeah, I've been burned by her a few times. I bet against her against Carnellosi. She looks like an absolute animal. I bet on her against Angela Hill when she was a minus 360 favorite, and she lost that by decision because I thought she was going to wrestle Angela Hill, and she just didn't wrestle her. And then I look at Cynthia Calvillo, and I'm like, she should not be a minus 275 favorite against Cynthia Calvillo. I don't think I ended up betting Cynthia, but I was like, I could see this one going Calvillo's way. And I was watching that fight live in person. I may have been up in the third deck, but I thought that Cynthia Calvillo won. So I don't know. I can't really get a good read on Lupita Godinez, but I look at this price. I'm like minus 125 against Ducote, who's had 2 fights in the UFC. She's 12-7. She was 4-4 in Bellator. It seems trappy to me. I feel like she has been so respected by the books, and then she's made is it the late notice? What's the disrespect for Lupita Godinez in this spot? So if it keeps moving that way and it's near a pick'em, I feel like I'm obligated to take it.
Yeah,
just based off of value, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of this line comes from looking at her last fight against Calvillo, and she kind of struggled to get the fight to the ground and implement that game plan. But also, Calvillo is the bigger fighter in that one. Ducote's same exact size as Lupita. Lupita's probably stronger than Ducote here. So, yeah, man, I think the line is a little bit off. I think it's lower than it should be, and I'm gonna watch it the next day. And if it drops any lower, I think you have to hammer it.
Yeah, keep an eye on it for sure.